Brian?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Of course. Holy cow. We got a placard set up and everything.
Charlie, you want to go out there and chip nice for us? What if he falls down? What if he falls down? Poor Elroy's up there chipping ice. Just let him?
He does that a lot.
Okay. I was gonna put some salt stuff down, but I don't see any. Here goes the fan. Brian's on it.
Good afternoon.
Oh, hi, Barry. How you doing?
I brought you some.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm that wrapped my gun.
No, you need to unwrap it now.
Oh, I do?
Yeah. Because I saw you come in.
Oh, hey, Randy. All right.
I don't know. Don't be religious about not wearing a hat. At least that's a good one for around here.
Yeah.
If you get to be too hot-headed, I'll ask for it there.
Okay. I know that's a bad sign. When you ask for the hat back.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. Okay. Would you like this paper back?
No.
Okay.
Where do you think I got it anyway? You know,
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I have one for Bill too, but he's not coming tonight, I imagine.
Bill.
Pleasure.
And the ruler.
I have one for him as well.
Yeah. Hey, Lydia, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Hi there, how are you? Did you see
Or you
what
need any help?
I sent you some information just for,
If you go online.
Didn't look at it like
no, I just sent it,
me, but
I just sent you the numbers. I thought,
Yeah.
to understand them better, we have to compare.
yes.
Thank you for the, so this. I did, I sent it back.
Oh, well, I haven't, okay, I just want to make sure you got it.
No, I said yes. I said yes. And,
Yeah, I don't have one today.
well, you get to stay. I used to go early in the morning with David. And David would have to go back to work, So maybe we would do it for 2 hours and then.
Well, I'm
know
gonna
people-
call tomorrow to find out, but
Yeah.
they have 2 days reserved, and they got folks coming in from
There
out
are
of
people
town.
flying here.
Yeah, I understand that.
So it could be a 2-day marathon. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what.
But I'm gonna find
I
out
have the
more.
days empty right now, so.
Well, that's, the earliest thing on my calendar is that we have a select board meeting that night.
Yes. Could be one day.
Yeah, and one of many.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
We've been through plenty. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a paper towel, and then I'm gonna take these boots off, because the last
Yeah.
thing you wanna do is sit and sweat in your boots, then go outside.
Hey, how's it going?
So,
Good.
like you, I don't tell you right now, because I forgot to say. So on Thursday's meeting, besides the budget, special thing on the agenda. The board review as authorized that, give us the alternate. I did check. Because it's, I was the alternate, I can't be, which I did think. And so we have a paper, and so we signed a contract for the project. Nobody's authorized to sign it. And to submit money, paper reimbursement, and we don't have any.
Yes. Hey, who'd you say the alternate is?
Well, my suggestion, it's up to you, my suggestion would be Jimmy. Who's the head of that, the head officer, and then you as the, yeah, right, the rep, but the board has actually.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, we,
So, I got the form all ready.
well, that's just mechanics.
Yeah, you don't need to be here.
Well, I'm
They just need-
gonna try to be here.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to be here for the budget meetings. And
You
then
just
actually
need to
set
approve it in open session and then sign the form.
negotiate with the agent.
Okay, you wanna wipe up something where you are?
Oh, Mary, you're better than me, I mean, I just, it's what it is.
And then you sit there?
Yeah.
And then you
It's
walk
like-
home in your sweaty feet?
My feet aren't gonna sweat, the soles of my shoes are waterproof.
Your feet are gonna sweat. They're gonna sweat, that's what they do. Feet do that.
No, Mary, I find it cold in here, so I don't sweat.
Well,
I didn't know what to expect, so I brought a sweater.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's always
I
cold
usually
in
bring
here.
layers in here,
But I also brought.
except for when it's really hot in here, in the summer.
We have that problem too. How are you?
Good, hi Charlie.
Hi, Charlie, how are you?
Hi, John.
Hello.
John?
Tapped on the door when you guys will try to get the last little bit of work done before noon time.
How you doing?
Good, it's all good. I'm supposed to be here before.
Pete, your package is right here.
Hello, David.
Here, bud. Won't need it.
Hi, Dave.
You're welcome. Good evening. How you doing?
Welcome aboard.
Hey, Dave. I'm getting settled in.
It's your second day?
Second day.
Official.
Nobody told me I'm done. That's a good sign. What time we got?
Recording in progress.
It says
57?
Who can see that? Where do you see?
557.
Four right-hand corner of the,
You
Three
can see that,
buttons.
huh?
Yep, I can.
5:57. Good God, that's great, if you can see that.
she's closer.
She's doing her
Not really.
board vision test. We need salt for the entry
Yes, we do. Sand or something.
and like an ice chinker, because the door won't open all the way.
An ice drinker.
Stop it.
Well, that's what
We always
Elmo's out
like-
there doing, banging
Like
away.
a flat edge to the parts that build up.
All right, it's banging away.
Oh, is he doing that now?
Yes,
Oh, Elroy.
he was doing it as we were coming in, didn't you see him?
No, I thought he was walking out that way, so I should have just guessed what he was up to.
Nobody was there when I walked in.
Well,
Yeah.
he was doing it when I walked in, see, there's the. And I asked him, how are you, and he said the same as yesterday.
It's as dead clean humor.
Huh?
Happy New Year, everybody.
I know, he's.
Yeah.
Is it a new year? Really? It's spinning.
It's like, geez, I feel like I haven't seen you guys in 6 months.
Yeah.
You just saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually don't
That
count.
was not the highlight of her day.
I try not to count them. Oh, yeah.
All right, being 7 o'clock, I'm gonna call the, what's today, the 9th?
Six?
6th?
It's Epiphany.
Wrong time, wrong date.
Why not? Select board budget meeting to order. Roll call is as present, there's no public participation, and for everybody, we're gonna go through the budget. We should have been doing this a month ago, but so we're a little pressed. I've reorganized things a little bit in that we are going to stay out of O&M and just do the capital, the equipment and capital improvement funds. The O&M will be done on next Tuesday because O&M is just basically consumables. And that's a pretty static line to go through. So as part of our beginning, we're gonna go through revenue. We have, if you go down to the right-hand side, you have your first draft. If you look at the 25-26, fourth column from the row, we budgeted last year 1630, we increased that to 1750 based on actuals.
Yeah, Charlie, can you start with the page number you're on before
Sorry,
we just
page
get
3?
rolling? Page 3, okay,
That was good.
thank you.
So if you just go down the 25-26 appropriate, which is the fourth column from the right, you'll see that the first one is 1630, and we increased that to 1750 because of actuals. We kept the dog license at 2800. We have the building zoning permits of 360. Thank you for the little driveway permits for 360. Building zoning permits, if you go to actuals for 24-25, which is the column left of the 25-26, we see that there was a bump of $15,879. I presume that was for a big project. We appropriated $7,500 as we have in the past, roughly, and we're keeping that close to that number at 8,000. The line below that is town clerk fees. You can see the actuals are around 27,000, so we're keeping them about 27,000. Passport fees, they've been as much as 11,000. I don't know, I don't recall what it was. I think it was something to do with COVID. And the appropriated last year was passport fees was 3,000, and we bumped it up to 4,000 as a revenue. Remember, this is money coming into the town, not money going out. 700 is the next one, and we kept it the same. 2,700 reflects the actuals, the line below that. 300 for DMV renewal fees. That's tracking actuals, that's about right. $30 for the Green Mountain passports is tracking actuals. Certified copies, there was a bump up in 24-25, but overall it's around 5,000, so we're keeping it at 5,000. We have F&W, fish and wildlife fees. Wildlife fees through the town clerks are at 50. That's pretty much tracking the actuals. Marriage licenses, we're keeping it around $400. Sometimes we get $495. Actuals for insurance fees are $1,600, $1,300. We've got it budgeted at $1,500. Fingerprinting actuals is around 500, so we put it at 750 because we'll probably have more fingerprints. I don't know why we did that. But EV charge fees, we had an actual of 442, 456, and now we're keeping it at 400. Special detail police grant is 2,100. The special detail ambulance is at 7,000. The actual was 9,000. Before that, it was 6,000. So we put it at 7,000. Ambulance fees are actual for 24-25 was $1,250,642, and we budgeted 907 last year, and this year we're budgeting 1,200,000. Revenues, ambulance, Berlin, Roxbury, that's kind of a fixed cost. We bill Berlin and Roxbury for providing ambulance services, and we estimate that that's going to come in at $38,520. Ambulance fees not insured, although we have a lot of money that comes in through the ambulance, we also have a lot of money that goes out because we're not able to collect it. and that's budgeted as a deficit of $450,000. Ambulance fee allowed bad debt, that's budgeted at $41,000 based on actuals. Mechanic fees are $11,600. And actual for, the last actual we had was $12,399. We're being conservative. Norwich University has a emergency services grant that they give us, and that's $242,050. And we're gonna pause while Elroy passes out one of my favorites.
Treats.
Thank you, Elroy.
Fuel for the fire.
Everybody.
Their entry fees for the pool was actuals 25 was $7,360, and we think that was an anomaly, although there's a trend, but we budgeted it at $5,000. Pool passes, I forget why we had this discussion, Lori, why it was $19,000. Did we get an answer why that was?
We did not, because it was 14,000 the year before also.
Okay.
So,
One of
you
the
know,
years,
we increased it to 10,000.
one of the years, we had that either donation or grant to give out free pool passes. It was like, but that was 2,500?
Yeah, it was
2,000?
small.
Yeah, just, that was one of the two.
Yeah.
Let's see, lessons, actual was 1,900, we've got it booked at 1,500. Park view rental fees, we've had 36, 1,500 and 1,350, so we budgeted 15 as 100 as revenue. General government administration rolls right around 17,160, and that's what we're keeping it at. Accounting fees, budgeting around, last year actuals were 125, 118, and 110. We're gonna up it to 152 this year, 152, 620. Delinquent tax penalty is, normally it runs close to $20,000, so we're keeping it close to $20,000. Delinquent tax interest is, $20,000 was budgeted last year, came in actuals at 13,900, so we're budgeting 17,000. Tax sale fees are budgeted at 10, that have been historically 12 and 10,000, budgeting at 10. We're gonna reduce it to 5,000. Dog fines, don't have anything on that line item. Port local fines, as it looks like it stays right somewhere around less than $1,000, so we're budgeting 6. The zoning fees and penalties are 0, that's just, you can't count on that. Speeding fines have always been around 4,000, so we're keeping it at 4,000. Parking fines, 250, we've had a various amount of parking fines, so we're just budgeting 200. Railroad tax is known, and that's budgeted for actuals, 4,010. That's, he wants to know what the railroad tax is?
That's the state paying us their share of railroad lines going through our percentage.
Okay, the next page, page 4, is still on the revenue, that's money coming in. You have the state aid for class 1 roads, that's 28,000. These numbers are pretty solid. State aid class 2, we've got that at 22,000, you can look at the actuals. State aid class 3, we've got it at 110, we budgeted for 110 last year, it was 116 actual the year before, so we're budgeting 115. Then you go to property tax and interest, it rolls right around 5,400, 7,700, 6,200, so we budgeted 6,000. Interest on investments, historically you'll see that it was before COVID, right at the beginning of COVID, we had budgeted 10, it came in at 40, at 11, it came in at 70. The next year we budgeted 30, it came in at 88, then we budgeted 40, and 40 again, and this year we're budgeting 60. That's why the yellow line is there, is because we adjusted it during the budget cycle, budget committee meeting. Cemetery miscellaneous. Okay. Cemetery miscellaneous fees, you can see they came in at 5, 6, 8,400, we're budgeting 6 for revenue. Cemetery lot sales, they've been as much as little as 1,400, as much as 8,600. That's part of COVID, and we're budgeting 3. Rent municipal building, this is an intercompany charge. We know what that is, so it's gonna be 13,930. Rent town garage, that's an actual. Then you go down to miscellaneous NSF, and the next 3 lines are zeros. Then we go down to equipment rental. We keep it right around 4,000 historically. That's a trend that seems to be pretty stable. Sale of land use buildings. Sale of land and buildings is 0. Current use state of Vermont, if you're not familiar with the current use program, that's money that comes in for the state for people that have pledged not to develop, and we had actual of 162, so we budgeted 155. Land use withdrawal fee, those are penalties for folks. You don't know what that's going to be, so we didn't budget it. That's if people pull out of land use, there's a penalty that they have to pay. Payment in lieu of tax receipts is a known number, and it's been 52.6. We budgeted last year 53,950, and this year we're budgeting 55,450. Taxes recovery deferred, you never know what the budget's going to be. Tax Act 68 admin, that's 10,000. That's an actual, that's a known expense essentially.
This is money the state pays us for collecting all the taxes. So
Right.
it's a percentage of the education tax, so it varies slightly year to year.
Late fees, we don't know how to budget that. It's just the people who are late and they pay their taxes and
The
then
state
tax.
did away with that, so we don't get the revenue anymore.
Okay, that's it. And then tax abatements, errors and omissions, those are negatives, and so we budget that for 4. Page 5, ARPA income, you can take a look at it. That's a page that goes with all of our ARPA grants, and there's nothing budgeted except for in the transfer from cemetery fund of $7,500.
Some of
Page,
that will fill in after the board talks about surplus. That'll get filled in.
so, thank you, Lori. Then we go to town general other sources, and you can see that for this budget year, the only thing that changes is interest income, $50,000 increase from 40. Now we get into manager expenditures. We get page 7. We bumped up the cost of having a manager because we know we're going to spend more money than previously. We bumped that up from 65,110 to
73,450.
Did I just open my mouth and insert my feet?
The agenda is fire and highway.
And it
Oh,
says
right,
administrative third, but.
Right, we're
Isn't that
supposed to go into
reasonable?
capital. Thanks for
And
that.
then,
I was
yeah.
running down Copen, I was flipping pages, I was hot.
You said we weren't gonna do that, Spike.
Right,
Yeah.
we're not doing O&M. That will be Tuesday. So please turn to page
41.
31.
41.
Thank you.
Are we discussing revenues at all, or we're just doing the overview
Nope,
and
if
then
you have any
discussing?
discussions about that, that's the reason I brought it
Just a
up.
very small one that, this past year, for swim lessons, we did the free swim lessons. So putting, I don't know how much we actually, some people probably still paid maybe for lessons rather than the free ones. But I don't know what we wanna do with revenue, if we wanna continue doing the free swim lessons, or we don't, but it's a small thing, but to be considered.
I had one comment tangentially related to that, which is that people signed up for swim lessons and didn't show up. So what I'm proposing is that, you pay for your swim lessons, and then after your kid's done, you get your money back.
That sounds complicated.
That sounds a little complicated.
As we
All right.
need to ask Shannon, because she was the one who was dressing up to come in for swimming lessons, and there were hardly any little kids there.
So that would be a policy thing if you decide to do that.
Okay.
All right, the budget, that I think can survive that.
Mhm.
Okay, page 41 is the capital improvement plan, building improvements, $7,516.19. We appropriated $5,000 last year, we're keeping the $5,000 for this year, and then it's going to go down for the foreseeable future to $2,500. Pete, you want to address what you're going to do with that money?
We don't have anything on schedule at this point for improvements, but that way, just putting enough money away so if we do have something come up, we can.
Very expensive.
Create a reserve.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep,
So it should say repair and improvements.
yes.
Because you need a rainy day fund for a window breaks.
Are you still thinking about a bathroom upgrade?
At some point in time, we do need the upgraded bathroom.
Yeah, and was it washing machines too that needed, or am I,
We have a washing machine at this point, we need to get a gear extractor at some point.
Yeah.
Which cleans our gear better.
okay, that's probably what I was
Yeah.
thinking of.
Any other questions? Next page is,
54.
thank you, Lori. Well, great. You must have said 54.
Yes.
Great. Oh, yes, this is the capital equipment plan. We had a shocker this year. Pete, you want to describe it? I mean, the fire hoses failed the certification.
That's correct. So we went with an outside company this year to test our fire hose. We've always done it in-house. There were some NFPA rules that we were not aware of in-house, so we were using hose that was previous 1987, which is non-certifiable. So a lot of our reserve hose that we had in the station to put on the trucks in case when we had a fire, we washed our hoses, cleaned them, and dried them in the station. We put the reserve hose on the trucks. That stuff was all outdated. So all of our reserve hose basically got thrown away this year, and we lost 600 feet off our tower truck for supply line, which was there again. It was donated to us by the town of Berlin a number of years ago, probably 20 years ago, and that was the same way. It was all outdated. So I increased the budget this year so we could get our hose back on our trucks as well as have reserve in the station for when we have fires.
Any questions of the fire chief?
And we have all new hoses now, correct?
We do not,
We do not?
no.
So is this 43,000 cover?
It will cover next year, yeah. After July 1, we will buy the hose to replace it.
Got it.
So then if you go down the line item, you'll see that we've continued last year's budgeting pretty much symmetrically all the way down. And then you get into a discussion that I want to open up. But we have the apparatus of the fire department is expensive. And we are buying, to offset those expenses, we are buying used. A new tower truck costs how much, Pete?
They're about 2.2 right now.
$2.2 million. A pumper is how much?
Million to 1.2.
Right. So it's hard to find the money to take care of that. So that's the reason you see the large amounts going into that equipment. And and I don't know of any way around it. It's emergency equipment. It's the safety of ship. It's just the cost of doing business in the fire department. I do have one question, and I'm sorry I didn't bring this up. We have a used tanker, from a 93 used tanker.
Yes.
Can we sell that?
So we still utilize that truck. We could certainly sell it, but it gives us an additional 2,000 gallons of water in minutes notice. disconnect sometimes can be what you need to stop the fire. So, I'm not a fan of selling it until we replace our tower truck, because when we replace the tower truck, it's going to be a Cannon Maxwell 100-foot truck with our agreement with Norwich. So at that point in time, we need to move the brush truck back over into the bay where that 93 tanker is, and then we'll have to get rid of that truck.
And how much would we get for that truck if we sold it?
Pennies on the dollar.
Pittance.
Yes.
What kind of condition is it?
It's serviceable. We purchased a new one, because the truck's starting to rust, and the inside of the tank is also rusting because it's a steel tank. So we went with a stainless steel body on the rear of our new tanker with a poly tank.
Yep.
So.
Mr. Chair, you brought up that the costs are now more than's listed here for replacements.
We usually buy a used tower truck.
No, I mean, should we be looking, I guess the question is, should we be looking at all these numbers
And that's why we're here.
that the financial director has in the past put down, and should we upgrade those numbers and give us realistic replacement costs?
We do, not normally buy a used pumper.
No, the only thing we bought used, as far as I know, is the aerial
It's
truck.
the aerial truck.
Right.
Everything else is new.
Correct.
Would you
So-
agree that we should up the,
Well, based on what he, yes, I didn't have new numbers.
Yeah, of course.
for now.
that's why I wanted to bring the point up.
So you're saying a pumper, the first pumper we'd be replacing is the 07, which is scheduled to be replaced in 3 years. You're saying a new's running $1 million for the 1.2?
Yes.
Would
We upgraded those numbers, I think it was a year or two ago, and they were 900,000 at that point, but now they're up to $1 million to 1.2.
Yeah,
Would
920.
we sell or trade the 07, and would we get much for that?
50 to 100,000 on best.
Well, because I'm just going, should we budget 1.2,
Yeah,
should I
exactly.
budget $1 million?
Yep.
Yeah.
On the last truck, I think we got 15 to 19,000 for it when we sold it on the fire broker.
My guess is you should probably plan for the worst,
Yes.
meaning 1.2. And
So, we had this discussion, I think it was last year. We used to try to fund 50/50.
Yeah.
Fund 50, borrow 50.
Yep.
We have not been doing that. We cannot do that. We can do that, but we had not been doing that in recent years.
Okay.
So, the debt payment for that truck, for the pumper, based on 920,000. And currently, we would only have 400,000. So we'd have to borrow 520, and if it's really 1.2 million, geez, I can't think that, I'm too tired. 9, another 200,000, so over 7. But we were looking at, that's gonna be like a $75,000 debt payment.
Versus what we had.
For 10
And
years.
so,
Seven.
if we buy the truck in 28, 29, based on the current budget, it was gonna be a $78,000 debt payment, estimating 5% interest, which we're just under that right now, but, so if you add another 200,000 on top of that, we're gonna be broaching 90 grand in a debt payment. And on top of that, the aerial truck is scheduled for 27, 28. That's gonna be about $55,000 in debt payment. So you're talking over $100,000 you're adding in a debt payment. So it's like, do we try to set more aside and cut down the debt payment? But 1.2 million for one truck is extremely difficult to budget that much. But you're
And financing for that for the number of years, so now you've got a debt payment, plus you've got to put funds in the capital to
100%.
Right.
replace
Seems
it.
like
So
we
it's not
should
like
try to
this will
up it a little.
disappear. So once we have that debt payment, we're still gonna be setting money aside for the next one, so we're, you know,
Can you just give me the page for debt payments, please?
oh, yep, sorry, I just took that off. 35. And those have changed because those were based on the numbers that are now too low. So that 9.2, we'll put at 1.2. And what did you say? So the aerial, well, the aerial, which is, we have 650 used,
That's projected.
right? Do you think that's still
Still,
potentially a valid number? Okay. Yeah.
The other tough question is, if you're intending, or not you, but if we're intending to purchase a truck out 2 years from now, I'm hearing that there's 2-year backlogs.
Yep.
And it's almost, if you want a reliable price 2 years out, you've got to put in the order now.
yes.
Otherwise, if you wait 2 years to put in the order, it'll be 1.4 million, and it'll be another 2 years. So I think as part of this, we have to be thinking about putting in an order. Or
Do you
putting
know
out
if
our,
they require for
request for
payment?
quotes or.
If we put in the order now, how much of a payment, or
I
all of it?
Do not know. I could reach out to the sources and find that out.
Well, I think that's
We should
important.
definitely find that
Yeah,
out.
I think that's,
It's-
otherwise they're gonna get caught short in 2 years.
And the ambulance is in the same boat.
Yeah, I think even police vehicles are the same way. I mean, just, the demand is outstripping the capacity to produce. And you're at the mercy of the manufacturers.
So the other question, Chief, is what's the alternative?
I don't have an answer for that. We have to have the trucks to do the job, of course.
100%. I agree with that. And we've been down the road of extending life.
Mhm. And NFPA states that your frontline pumper should not be any more than 10 years old.
Yeah. So that's
And
the reality
and
we're
The
dealing
rate of
with.
escalation of equipment pricing is just outrageous. It's almost unsustainable. It's just sustainable.
You know, 2017, we paid $410,000 for our truck.
What's that be?
2017, we paid $410,000 for our current truck. That truck now is 1 million to 1.2. Same identical truck, no difference.
My suggestion would be that after you get the budget set, you know, the goal should be like by July 1st to have an order placed for whatever equipment you need in 2 years.
When do you have to pay for it?
I would have
That's
to
what
find out.
Lori just asked.
I know in years past, we don't pay for the truck until it's delivered. At 2017, we didn't pay for it until it was delivered.
Yeah, but don't you have to make a down payment or something?
I don't know that
Yeah,
answer.
that's
We did
what-
not have to with that one.
You use
We had a signed purchase and sales agreement with the manufacturer.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's
we already,
enough.
we have
Tim, what did you say?
275,000, so.
Purchase and sales agreement is usually where it goes. Like,
Yes.
there's no money exchange, but you put a purchase and sales agreement together, both parties
You get a
sign
signed
it.
contract.
That's-
Yes.
That's the
Signed order.
Yes.
signed order.
So then it comes back to, at 1.2 million, the current program would only have 400,000.
And we would have to, finance 800, and we would increase the debt payment approximately,
Another third, well,
so
500 was, but now you're going over to 8, so that's another 300, that's the half again.
I think we should try to set a
I mean,
little
we-
bit more aside. I'm not sure how.
yeah, I agree with setting more aside, and I also agree with preparing the budget for further debt. Absorbing.
And I, you know, I mean, I did that at 5%, the projection, just to be safe, hopefully rates will come down before then, but, and I based that on a 10-year payment cycle, so I mean, we'd be paying for 10 years.
And the life is 10 years.
Well, we keep the truck 20,
Well, we have to have one.
but we rotate it to the
The
second line
front
truck.
line truck has gotta be
Yes.
less than 10 years.
Yeah,
Got it.
and then that goes to our second line.
Are the capital budgets voted separately on the ballot?
No.
They're part of just the overall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there's for some odd reason an emergency purchase
Special.
or something like
Special
that.
ballot item.
Yeah.
We created a new reserve that needed a special article.
So what's the consensus of the board?
My consensus is we need to increase our CIP contributions up. I'm gonna rely on Lori for that one. And I think, you know, planning, for this year's budget, we don't have to, but we gotta be cognizant of the fact that we're gonna, it's gonna be, what, 40 grand more for payment, for debt?
Potentially,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we gotta think about that too.
Right, that's depending on the
Because
tax bill.
you're gonna, yeah, you'll have the aerial ladder as well,
Yeah.
in there.
I was looking what's coming up, but,
That wise?
yeah.
In 29, I mean, you know, this budget's 268, we will be dropping just below 200.
Yeah, yeah.
So that will help a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
But so in 28, 29, we'll go probably 20 to 30,000 higher than we are today.
That's reasonable estimation, I think.
But then we're gonna go, we'll be over 300,000 in 29, 30.
Which we've been in that realm before. So the question is then, what do we increase the CIP to? For that pump? I think it would not be good to, so let me, I think I know the answer to this question. Have we ever used surplus to build the CIP funds?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we generally do.
So that's another option,
It is.
yeah.
I've put together a proposal for another time.
Okay, that's what I was looking for in my packet, because I know you normally do, and that's a very important thing, so.
Unfortunately, I came up with plenty of other things,
I figured,
unfortunately.
well, sometimes we have to make priorities and make tough decisions. Safety of the community is tough, that is top in my mind.
And we, right, might just have to.
Well, so, how would you like to handle that, Mr. Chairman?
I'm looking for a consensus from the board, how much do you want to raise it?
Well, I wouldn't want to raise it until I got some recommendations about the surplus.
So to provide guidance, she's done that, and it's reasonable, but the idea, I think what Lori would appreciate is knowing that we're going to assume some debt for these fire apparatus.
There's no doubt there.
Right, so the question is, how much debt do you want to put into the budget going forward?
Well, she just stated in the past, our goal was 50 and we've never made it.
Well, back when therefore,
Yeah.
we kind of had this generic, it wasn't any written policy, but under 400,000, we were trying, 400,000 seemed to be the under 400,000, we were trying to set enough money aside to pay. Once we got over 400,000, we're like, okay, we're getting into higher numbers, and we started doing this 50-50, trying for this 50-50 split. You know, it's hard, because I'll tell you what, I've worked with a lot of boards. I've had a town treasurer and a board before that felt, you know, we should borrow, because the people getting the benefit of the piece of equipment are the people paying for it. And setting money aside, and I'm not suggesting this, I'm just saying there are varying philosophies that when you set money aside today for 20 years, those people paying that tax for that set aside may very well not be the people getting the use of that piece of equipment 20 years from now when you buy it, but they paid for it. Just one train of thought. The other
But
is
if
obviously-
we went that way, how much would we have to finance?
Right.
And how much would the 10-year note be? And that, I see that escalating
Well,
tremendous.
right now, you know, when we could borrow for under 2%, I'd say go ahead and do it, but not at 5%.
Yeah.
You know, we do have the benefit of because we're a municipality and the tax situation with the bank, we're able to get loans lower than private individual, but we're still paying about 4.8 right now. Luckily, we locked in a lot of our loans when they were low, so they're locked, but a couple of them are not, like the loader. I think partly some of the general guidance might be just more of the, you know, would the board still like to eventually shoot for that 50-50 mark, and then I can like look at, well, how can we get there? Can we stagger that? We're not gonna be able to make that all up this year, but can we plan on, you know, another 10 this year, and then next year, instead of an extra 10, we do an extra 15 or an extra 20, and then, so that we stagger that increase to try to reach, rather than doing it, you know, so much of it in this first year. We kind of increase that each year, but that means your future years, future boards can always change that. You only vote on the 1 year, just because, just to clarify, just because we lay out a 10-year plan, only the year that the public votes on at town meeting is the only year lines it. The rest of it can all change tomorrow. But as far as planning purposes, you know, we could try to stagger that increase to get closer to a 50-50 mark. And I think what I started to say was, you know, the problem with that is, so then next year, even if you level funded everything else, you're planning on increasing that, you'd have to increase that line item to catch up. Yeah, Main Street Bridge is just really eating, because that's what my tentative plan was, to put surplus, and it's where we've put quite a bit of the surplus in the last 2 years, which is good that we can do that. It's just unfortunate that those things are all hitting around the same time period, because I was really hoping that I'd be able to use some surplus for the fire, because I knew we're quite behind in set-asides. And I can, you know, relook at those numbers, but.
Can you bond for a longer period for like the bridge versus equipment?
Yes. I've kind of been out of the mainstream of flow of information for 6 months, so we'd want to double check that, but generally, yes.
The lifespans are different, so
Right,
you
so
see
like-
the bonding period would be different.
They generally will let you go up to the bonding, up to the lifespan.
Yeah.
It gets a little vague in there. You know, and the only thing we have to be careful on the bridge, I would agree, because one of the thoughts may be that instead of trying to pay for that bridge out of cash, maybe we borrow for the bridge and we use the cash for rolling stock.
Strategically, it might be better to use that cash that's being set aside for the bridge now to help with some of these other set-asides.
Right.
And then when the time comes, stretch that bridge payment over, I would think it could be at least 30 years, if not longer.
And, you know, we're based on, not to jump to the highway, but based on the current numbers, we need another 200,000 for the bridge. And that money we've already put into the bridge, so we can't take it back out without voter approval. So we'd only be talking, in this budget that we proposed tonight, we're gonna use put $150,000 into Main Street, and I was going to, at a future date, propose that that come out of surplus. I think we probably, based on the fact that we're not gonna get out of borrowing for something, it seems like it would be more reasonable to borrow for the bridge at a longer time frame and to put the surplus
Because
in the
that
capital.
asset's gonna last 3 times as long as the truck's going.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
you can stretch the capital payment over a
and
long
the
period of
truck-
time, annually they're less.
And the trouble we get into with expanding the truck, even if we were able to, then your second truck hits, so then you have 2 debt payments, and we don't wanna do that.
So Larry, I'd like, before we make final decisions on anything, I'd like to see what your proposal is for surplus at the next opportunity. So we have a better comprehensive way of looking at it. And, oh, you already have them all printed out. Oh, well,
Speak of the devil.
well, holding information.
Well, we were gonna talk about
Yeah, but we
revenue.
can't put the cart before the horse.
And again, this was just for discussion
Yep.
purposes, it was just,
For those of you in the audience, this is 600,000 approximately surplus. But Lori will cover that momentarily.
I'm sorry, what was that date?
There's 660,000 in general and 81,000 in highway
Correct.
and CIP.
Basically, the CIP is just interest earnings. I have to check with the LCT. In the past, municipalities weren't supposed to have a undesignated fund balance. I mean, you were supposed to use it. So the public then voted to create a reserve basically to allow an undesignated fund balance not to exceed 190,000. So we would have to get that 660,000 below 190, or 190 or below. The part I have to double check is there was a recent law change allowing municipalities to have undesignated fund balances, that they did not have to be utilized immediately in the budget. I have to find out, unless Steve happens to know, how that law change affects the fact that we already have a policy. My feeling is the policy will stay in because it was voted by the public. But it's just something, you know, to.
Well, I think you, in Barry during my tenure, it was up until 5 years in, technically you could not hold the fund balance. You had to return, if there was an excess, you had to return it to the taxpayers the next year. We passed a ballot item, or got voter approval for a 5%. 5%, not a fixed amount, but 5%.
I know
Of
some
fund
towns did
balance.
that.
And then I think in Nicholas's tenure, that they've actually voted that up to 10%. Probably, so my thinking, without being a lawyer or whatever, is that if the board wanted to get voter authorization to actually change that fixed 190 to a percentage, you could go to the voters and request that.
I think under the current, I'll research, but I think I think the law changed so that we're allowed to carry a fund balance without voter approval.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's where the law changed.
Okay.
But we already have
Yes,
an
yeah.
approved one, it's not to exceed 190, so it could be 0, we could use all of it. I would not, as finance director, recommend that.
Neither would I.
Which you'll notice I did not recommend, and just to clarify, town general and town highway are technically one fund. We just still choose to kind of split that fund balance into two items so that the board kind of has a general idea of what's due to highway. I would not recommend using any of the 81,000 of town highway. That's not much of a number when you get into Vermont weather between winter and mud season.
Which is our next
Extra
discussion in the
months.
highway, which is following this.
So I
And
can, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
inside the highway budget is going to be the 309,000 that's in the Main Street Bridge. So we
What's the
are,
number for that? What page was that? The
um,
highway budget?
50,
Thank you.
and we're gonna be discussing that next. So Pete, Chief, I think you see what we're trying to get done here. So, I think your numbers are right, and thank you for coming up with those. We're gonna have to, you're welcome to stay. We're gonna go into highway next, and, I think this discussion on, that Steve just brought up about, and Lori brought up about perhaps bonding for the bridge and funding equipment will be part of that discussion. I know it will be. So, are there any other further questions from the fire chief?
Yep, so, are there any other pressing needs that haven't been identified in the budget?
Not currently, no.
And how's our fleet?
Very well.
Good.
If you could just take sometime this week, tomorrow, take a quick look at the rest of those estimates and just make sure they seem reasonable and it's only the two bumpers.
Those are my questions I had for the chief.
Then he has to find out
What
also
was
what the down payments.
So I asked him if
are on
it-
a new one.
Was there any other urgent requests that were needed, and I asked him how the fleet was.
Right,
That's it.
right, I heard that part.
Yeah,
I thought
that was
it
my last question. I'm all set.
Okay. Carl, we're gonna do highway now. You've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. Would you like to get to bed early?
It's not looking like it's gonna happen.
Come on up. We're not gonna do O&M, as I told you, we're gonna do capital improvement for highway, which is, the first one is CIP first, or
Page 50.
page 50. So Carl, we've got, if you go down, let me get my ruler. You have $3,547 in the balance for building improvements, and we're adding $2,000 for that. We have paving for the town garage, has $7,196 in it. We're putting $2,500 in that. We have guardrails of $38,482. We're adding $5,000 to that. Now we've got the magic number of bridges. Bridges are voted as a reserve, which means anything that we switch or take out of that fund, we need to have voter approval if we're not going to use it on a bridge. So you will see under bridges, all bridges reserved, you have $6,515.03 under the balance. And you'll notice that there is a yellow 31,000 line in there. Carl, what are you gonna do with that 31,000?
And we have two bridges on Chamberlain Road that need to be rebuilt. We have extremely corroded beams, decking that's following suit. And we also have one on Monty Road that is also in the same condition where the beams are, the I-beams are extremely corroded. And some of them are actually even showing signs of having a sag in them.
So that $31,000 is budgeted, is in the budget for the purpose of rebuilding those three bridges with the crew.
They can rebuild 3 bridges for $31,000?
They're very
With
short.
our crew.
That's pretty good.
They're short, and what do you use for material?
We'll be using 6x6s for decking and then planking on top of that. And then we'll be purchasing I-beams.
Okay,
But we will be building them pretty much to the same spec that they've been built at, except a couple of them on Chamberlain Road we're going to widen slightly. and do some abutment work as well.
What's a lifespan of a bridge like that?
Well, I'd love to tell you, but I don't have any idea how long those bridges have been there. I don't know anybody that was involved in it.
We redacted Chamberlain Bridge in the early 2000s.
But not the iron. You redecked it, you didn't rebuild the iron.
No, the iron.
Iron's been there
The
for,
middle bridge,
and some of the iron, just to let you know, was, especially on the West Hill side bridge, was used when it went in there.
Yeah,
We cut it, it was cut. There was a guy by the name of McNamara that would take, long pieces of bridge and make them shorter.
I'm very familiar with it.
So now it's time to do some new ones.
So these rebuilds would be, steel and decking?
yes.
Question, are these types of assets can we finance?
Can you? You should be able to, but, well, I mean, if our guys are doing the work, 31,000 is just,
I'm not so much worried about that, I'm worried about all the other bridges that are coming.
Oh, bigger ones.
right,
Yeah,
This 31,000.
like I'm saying, I see the bridge that Slaughterhouse we just repaired,
yeah. that
and
was
we're
45.
using 200 and something thousand, can we finance that?
Voter approval.
Voter approval.
'Cause
This
it's gonna be
31,000, these three bridges, the two
It'd
on
have to be a
Chamberlain
bond.
and the Monty Road Bridge, are also eligible for grants, but the grant cycle hasn't happened yet. So we are hoping that we're going to be able to find some bridge grants for that, and there is 2 or 3 of them, and I have a level of confidence that some portion of them, whether it's the environmental grant or whether it's a structure grant, will be available for us. So the 31,000 they need to get done, we may have some money left over from that, but it's,
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the 31, but I'm really concerned about the other,
the bigger ones.
the bigger ones.
All right, so we'll go down to the next one. The bridge, so you know, is the Main Street Bridge. You had 400,000 in that budget, you spent 91, so you have roughly $309,970 in that fund. We're considering putting another 150,000 in that because we have a known exposure of 600,000. That bridge, I understand, has been pushed out to 28. It was supposed to be, it's the second or third time it's been pushed out. And every time it's pushed out, the cost goes up. So as far as this discussion that we just had about, is that money that we have in the balance, that $309,970, if nothing changes, we still need another 200,000. Remember, we've already spent 91. So that 200,000 is going to be budgeted over 2 years, 150,000 on this budget, and 50,000 in next year's budget. Now, we have a very interesting idea of bonding that cost, which is it's pretty murky what that cost is going to be because of the way prices go up and the availability of federal funds. The bridge is going to get replaced. And it's going to, so is it time enough to consider taking that money out and then just plan on bonding for our cost share,
600.
whatever it's going to be?
Well, we can't take that 300 out.
You cannot take the 300 out without voter approval.
That's.
But are you talking about the 150, Charlie, or are you talking about trying to get voter approval for more?
Well, if you take the 150 out, then you're gonna have 309,000 sitting there, and it's not gonna be enough. We know that it's not gonna be enough. So then you would go to the voters for that 309 and ask permission to do that with the intention of bonding the total matching funds that we're.
I don't,
I would, it just gets a little messy because we've spent several years of putting the money into Main Street Bridge. Although I will tell you, I wasn't exactly in favor of that. I'd rather bond for that type of item and put the surplus into equipment that's behind. But the money's there now, and the public approved those, especially when we also have slaughterhouse that, so we could leave the 300. I mean, yes, you can ask the public to take out the 300. You can do that. You can put an article on it. It'd have to be a separate article on the warrant, asking them to reallocate that 300,000. Or you can leave the 300,000. Know you're going to be approximately 200,000 short, and you would not have to do it in 26-20 in this town meeting. In the next town meeting, you could vote a not to exceed, borrowing up to whatever the estimate is at the time. And you could say up to 300,000 for the Main Street Bridge project. Because you could only borrow what you needed for Main Street Bridge, so it's not like you're gonna spend it on something else. That could be done in the following year, not this coming year. And then that would give you that 150, and you could ask, I will double check with the attorney and the VLCT tomorrow, but you should be able to ask the public for the 207,000 this year at this town meeting to borrow for that. That frees up the 357,000 I had suggested for surplus that we could use for other items like equipment. But you just keep it, I mean, you are still adding debt.
Right.
yeah.
You're just adding it for something else instead of equipment.
The way that,
But you can put that lifespan out instead of 10 years.
the way our bridge reserve fund works, can we move money around within there for
Yes.
different bridges? So that would be another way.
We can do that. That's why it's a little weird that it has a May 18th of 2000. Because when the reserve was created, it said bridge fund. It didn't
Yeah,
say
just-
Main Street Bridge, it didn't say slaughterhouse, it just said
Yeah.
bridge fund. So we have chosen to identify
Yeah.
them individually as,
So we
Big
could,
projects coming.
instead of borrowing for slaughterhouse, we could use the funds that are set aside for the Main Street Bridge for that. The funds that are already in the reserve. And then we could bond for the Main Street Bridge more.
I
That's-
believe that is.
I don't know that that's a better idea, but just throwing it out there.
I believe that is true. I would just want to, yes, that's true, other than, did we show an individual line item in the budget to the public? And then you,
And then changing it. I mean, yeah, we did. I think we've had it separated out as each of the, I think. I mean.
Yeah. we did.
Okay.
So it said Main Street Bridge,
So you
you
can't
know,
change it
13,000.
now?
Voters,
No, I still think you can.
Oh, you can?
Because it wasn't, the reserve was bridges.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
I would want to get at least VLCT's opinion on that to make sure.
Yeah, I
But
don't know whether it's a better idea, but we already did the slaughterhouse bridge.
Yes, it is
So-
one of the,
It just feels like,
it's already, yes, I agree. So you would need to, the bridge is getting pushed out, the Main Street Bridge is getting pushed out to 28, but I'm paying bills every month.
right,
So
so we still need,
we're using that money. So
yep,
you would definitely need to do it this March if we're going to do it. You couldn't wait.
yeah.
Or for Main Street, which is all right. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be a not to exceed
Yep,
amount. So we could put in a 300,000 or, well, actually, if you were talking about the whole amount,
probably,
600,000.
Yep.
And it would specify for the Main Street Bridge project, so it wouldn't be used for anything else.
yeah.
It's just we are paying, yeah. So you,
Would the, I mean, because we wouldn't need all of it to cover the slaughterhouse,
right,
so,
right,
but I don't know whether that would leave enough.
obviously, but, yeah, I mean, it's
The
200,000, so.
slaughterhouse, we
To
want
pay
to
the bills that we have
discuss
coming
about the surplus we have, because we put the slaughterhouse cost into surplus.
No, we
Yes.
understood that.
I know, what I'm saying is
That's a good idea, yeah.
that the reserve fund, we could use the Main Street Bridge, instead of the surplus, use what we already have in the reserve fund.
With the hopes that you're gonna get.
Then
approval
we're
from
taking that,
All right.
instead
Alright, so
of
that's a
borrowing
discussion.
for slaughterhouse, which feels,
That, as Charlie would say, that dog don't hunt.
Yeah, we're not gonna borrow for the slaughterhouse. we have-
Well, you spent the money, and it's,
Right.
you know, that's not a good way to, anyhow. So, we
I'll
would
double
have to
check that.
bond for 600,000 or thereabouts in 2028.
Well,
In order to access that 309,000, you have to have the bond.
no, so the voter approval, I'm gonna check that tomorrow. I don't think technically you do. The reserve account was not for Main Street Bridge. The reserve
for all
account was for bridges.
Yeah,
So I believe you can move money within the bridge, because
right.
we.
I agree.
That's what we're
Right.
saying.
Right. Okay, I thought you were.
So using some of that monies for 207,
Right.
and then
Then-
bonding for the Main Street Bridge, whatever the requirement
Leave
is.
roughly the 100,000, only transfer the 207, because the 100,000 then, you mentioned borrowing in 2028.
Oh,
And I just wanted to, because I'm paying bills almost every month, we have to pay our percent of the pre-engineering and engineering costs. So I need cash now. Yeah. We could talk to the engineer too about that, the timing of that. I don't know if 100,000 is enough between now and 2028,
Yeah.
or if we should get the approval now or their approval next year. And then it doesn't mean we would borrow. We wouldn't borrow until we needed to, but we'd have the approval in case we had, in case that project.
That was my point. Should we bond, should we ask for bonding for the Main Street Bridge this year? Or do we wait?
So the question then is, how about if it's delayed again?
Then we have a bonding, is there a sunset for bonding? Is it a 2-year, 5-year?
Not that I'm aware of, but I haven't had to wait that long before, so. Actually, I don't think there is, because I know on Water Sewer, we've used leftover bonding from, projects years ago for. So I'll check with the LCT about transferring.
So if we went to the voters and get a not to exceed amount for bonding for our cost share our share of the Main Street Bridge, we go out there for this town meeting day. And I'm just using the number that 600,000. Now we've got the agreement that we can have that 600,000. We can bond for that 600,000. Do we have to use that bond? What happens if we don't use it?
No, we don't ever have to.
All right, what happens if interest rates go down and there's an opportunity to, instead of getting 5%, we get 3% on the bond? Could we cancel that bond that was authorized by the voters?
Oh.
Okay,
No, sorry, finish that statement.
and get a different bond at a different interest rate?
Well,
Well, the interest rate didn't have anything to do with what the voters approved. All the voters are approving is
The debt.
borrowing not to
authority do
exceed
it.
600,000 for a period not more than 20 years, whatever we decide, for the Main Street Bridge. They could approve it in March. We could go to the bank and, well, this would be a bond, so this would go through, this is a big project, and it would be 20 years, so we would more than likely, going through the bond bank, we wouldn't do that till we needed the money.
Right, your interest
Because-
rate wouldn't get set until you go to sell the bond.
Right, it's not a situation like the 2-year, 3-year notes that we take out with one of the local banks. This would go through the bond bank.
I'm kinda
Once you
wondering-
take out a bond, you can't pay it back early just because you want
Right.
to. It's,
And you can't refinance it,
no,
so.
depending, they do get refinanced, but we don't have a choice in that. We don't ask for that. It has to do with the
Those
bond bank.
opportunities come along, yes.
It has to do with how much variance there has been in the rates, and they would offer occasionally. It's only happened a few times. So if we went through the bond bank, like, we wouldn't actually go through with that loan now and then say, well, no, we don't want it. That wouldn't work. But we can get the approval now. We can wait till next year to go to the bond bank, or we could go to the bond bank this year. They're only sold
Twice a
in
year.
July and January, or roughly in July and January. So they're only sold twice a year through the bond bank.
I'm wondering though, for the bridge, just because it's such a large number, and it's still indefinite, I mean, it's not, we don't know when that will actually go to construction. I'm wondering if trying to figure out an amount to bond now is premature. And just don't wait until we know
Yeah.
when the project is going to go to construction. And then you have some firm numbers, you have a firm schedule. you
As long
actually-
as we leave enough in there to pay for what we need
Right.
to pay for
And,
now.
you know, it
Well,
seems,
I think that would,
it seems like that 100,000 would,
I was gonna ask the same question, 'cause if you go out and bond for only 600,000, that's as high as you're gonna get, correct?
if,
So, 2 years from now, it turns into 800,000,
we have to get
you're
another.
gonna have to.
And
have to go
we've
back
had
to
that
the house or
situation.
somewhere.
It wouldn't be prudent to do it
So
now.
you're already gonna short yourself.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
we've had that
thinking, it's
situation in
pretty
the past where, you know, we bonded for 700,000 and then the project came in at 900,000. We just had 2 bonds. The following year, we had to go back and have a second bond.
Well, we could plan, saying we could use the fund to fund the slaughterhouse, leave 100 in there, and then the plan is to bond for whatever the final number for the Main Street Bridge is gonna be.
when you know what that number is.
Yeah.
And you've already spent 91,000, and how long has this budget been in place?
3 or 4 years.
All right, so in 3 years, you spent 91,000.
So
So
it would
100
seem
would-
reasonable to get you to next year. But I'm not the engineer doing the street bridge either.
All right.
But it's certainly worth looking at, and I'll make some phone calls tomorrow.
Good.
Thanks, Laura.
Excellent. So you go down further, the 207,000 under Slaughterhouse Bridge, that was come out of surplus. That was our recommendation. You go further down, you've got the Town 54 bridge, the first bridge past Lover's Lane. We had an estimate of 200 and, John, do you remember what that estimate was for?
That was for the construction of the bridge that goes to that one lot with a house on it.
You remember what that total was, the estimate?
It was about 300,000.
Okay, so we've got $200,000 in, 210,000 in reserve, or as a,
No, we don't, Charlie, we
I'm
have
sorry, we've got a
160.
balance of 160,000.
Yeah,
And we're gonna need 100,000 more.
I know that, so the estimate that's on here is wrong.
It sounds that way. This is the estimate left from last year. If it's.
Do you guys have new information, Charlie, you and John?
No,
Okay.
We don't have access to that information anymore.
Well,
Well,
we'll
the
have to
number
call
that
somebody.
John's saying it. Cause it was a 210, was the estimate.
Right.
Okay.
And now it appears to have gone up.
So we just gotta
Where's
verify.
that coming from?
John, do you know for sure that it's 300, or was that just what you were recollecting?
No, I was thinking with, if what I remember, it's 300,000
And we
to
budgeted.
do that and fix the walls and the retaining walls and so on.
Isn't the retaining wall, is that not the state's part, or is that a different?
No, that's our part. I tried that when they came in and discussed the dip that's on
Yeah.
around 12. I was hoping
The
maybe
dips.
they could take that retaining wall as part of that, and they said, no, that's yours.
I thought what they said was the abutments were ours. They're,
Isn't
they're
that the
doing,
same thing as a retaining wall?
well, they're doing the retaining wall.
Right. The abutments
That's
is what
causing the
John's
dip.
talking. You're talking about abutments, right, John?
Yes, I am.
Right. So
It
the
says
abutments-
300,000.
That's for the
That's
rabbit
Rabbit
hollow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Above
that
it? Okay.
already confused me once.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault.
Try to expand the
All
roads.
So it sounds like we need a firm estimate on what the actual cost is gonna be.
Yes. If it's not the 210 that we previously
If it's
discussed.
300, that's 90 more, and the 25 is not gonna be sufficient.
I wonder if we're thinking about, because there were the two bridges, so I don't know whether, because there's the other one.
Yeah.
And this
And we
is
were
all
talking
for
about them
one
both
house.
a lot last year.
So, Charlie, you made a statement that we are no longer have access to information.
I haven't found it yet.
Okay, well, we'll get it. I'm very confident that the manager.
Okay, well then would you please find the as-built for the Falls Bridge, the Norwich Agreement, the other projects?
Yes,
you have?
I can give you the Norwich Agreement.
Oh,
No
because
problem.
I haven't found it.
Interesting.
She hasn't found it
No, we didn't find any of that stuff.
yet.
Not a lot of dirt,
But then there's
dust.
the computer files and,
Well, that's where they would be.
right, and it's, the computer files are, what I've discovered so far, they don't have Town Bridge Slaughterhouse, they have a different code on them, it appears. And I don't understand that code.
Interesting.
So, we're trying. So, the 207 for Slaughterhouse is coming out, now we've got the 25,000, sounds to me like we're gonna have to revisit that also for the purpose of determining the actual number. If you go down to,
Sorry, Charlie, just to go back to that bridge for 1 second, because we really need to do that work this year, is that right? It's already past due, because the state told us we needed to do that, right?
On Rabbit
And then they're
Hollow
doing the
Bridge.
bigger project this year, makes sense to do it
No,
at the
not,
same
not Rabbit
time.
Hollow,
No, not Rabbit Hollow.
Town Highway 54.
Down 50, okay.
the dip that's on Route 12A, 12, across from
Yeah,
the
that I-
Baptist Church.
Drive over every night on the way
That's
home.
right, you're familiar with that dip.
I am.
So that's going to be done this construction season, I believe.
So we need a updated engineering cost estimate.
Okay, well,
And
let's see, do we know any engineers around?
when you say this construction season,
Well, yeah,
that would be the 26-27 budget,
which
not,
is not there.
we put some of that money in the 27-28.
Correct, that's why I'm saying it's not enough.
Okay. So we've got, those confounded bridges, we're gonna have to, have a discussion when we get some more information. I'll do my best. We added $5,000 to the, footbridge account. We've got two footbridges, you've got the Water Street footbridge, you've got the footbridge that is adjacent to the highway bridge on Vine Street, and that's, got money in it to get redone. We took, if you go further down, everything's kind of static, you get down to sign and post that used to be capitalized, we put it in O&M by the recommendation of the manager. The reason it went into capital was because there was a threat from the state that we were going to have to replace all of the signs in, traffic signs by the state, and that didn't come, that requirement didn't come through. So it had always been in O&M, and we put it back there. And then you've got sidewalks on Vine Street, sidewalks with a balance, and we're putting more money into sidewalks for the tune of 25,000 and 30,000. And you go down, crosswalk in the
Wait,
falls.
Charlie, was that retaining walls or sidewalks?
Retaining walls.
Sidewalks on Vine and sidewalks.
Retaining wall is 25,000, sidewalks is 30,000.
Yes,
Okay, thanks. Because we have some major retaining wall
issues.
things that are,
We've got major, we got lots of stuff. Crosswalk in the Falls, the grant, I think I've done a fairly good job with that. That grant expired in September after a year extension. They've been threatening to claw that matching fund back, which is at 16,000 something, and because it was not billed according to design, Steve's gonna work with the representative and I'm not sure how it happened. I think John probably softened her up a little bit, and I talked to her again, and she's given us a 2-week extension to get that out. Carl's working on that, to get that done as quickly as possible. Which nobody thinks it's the right thing to do. But
Well, I want you to add one more thing that you
Please
said to me, which is that if we were to not do it and eat the 16,000, which isn't all that much money, but let's say we were to do it, but they would never grant to us again. That's what you don't want to have.
the language was clear in her email, because I asked that question, if we left it there, would we have to take that out anyway? And she said probably yes, but more importantly, you would be at risk for not getting any more grants, and that's a quote.
And I think I quickly turned around my thinking about that then. It's like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
I immediately turned to those bridges, the 31,000 that is for the Chamberlain and Monty Bridge, that we want grants for that.
Yeah,
So what-
exactly.
What is the deadline that has to be removed?
Steve's gonna see,
I was gonna try to call today, I didn't get a chance, I'll have to call tomorrow.
It's like yesterday, that's the deadline.
sadly, it was 2 weeks, but there was the holidays, she knows that we're on it, I told her we're on it, she said, thank you. The problem with the money
And it's
is it's on a calendar year, and she and her partners have to budget that $16,000, and they're not gonna release it unless that,
Well, if our crew can't do it, can't we hire it out?
you could?
that was how we got into this trouble in the first place.
All right, so then you go further down, that's the Wall Street pedestrian study.
Just if you hire it out, you're gonna have to budget to cover it,
Right,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
because the grant is maxed.
Oh.
We're over budget on the grant now. On falls, not by.
Taking 2 sections of the sidewalk out.
2,000 is worth 16,000 to me.
Absolutely.
Charlie, with the Wall Street one, that's a project that we also need to talk about at some point, right? Because the information we got was that the prices have gone up on that, and so the grant funds, I don't remember everything that was told to us, but we need to investigate
You
that
don't
one.
remember, Lydia? I count on you remembering.
I mean,
That's right.
I remember
She's-
enough
Hey,
that
lay it off,
it-
she's very busy.
the railroad piece of it,
Okay,
and
Shep.
D&K has upped their,
Yes,
Right, there's
Amount.
two engineering costs associated with that. One is the engineering cost for the railroad, and that's 38,000, and the former manager signed that, obligation, so the railroad has permission to spend that 38,000. Or to redesign. The, other, Du Bois and King, I don't recall the amount that their price increased, but in March is going to be another cycle for the grants, and
right,
that
so
grant
we
is
could
going
apply
to
for
be,
more.
we're going to apply provide for those increases.
which would probably also still need a match. So it's just, it may have a budgetary impact, so.
They might.
Something to, and deciding how important that project is to us. Again, we don't necessarily, we put a lot of money, and we've been given a lot of money to work on it.
Right.
So I would hate to see it just fall apart. We've been given, what was it, 600,000 for it, this project?
544?
Yeah, that sounds right. And then we had the
And then
prior
there's ARPA
money for it,
interest.
and then we did the ARPA money for it, yeah.
Then a fair amount of money.
Yeah, it's on everybody's radar.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Drainage, we're in a deficit of drainage of $3,000. We're putting $5,000 into that, which will, of course, mean that we will only have $2,000. Stormwater, we're in a deficit of $3,800. Stormwater, the 3 acre is you're gonna have to do that one where I don't recall it.
That's the 3 acre Cabot private
Oh,
public
yes.
partnership, that's a grant, that'll, and the Crossvillers Dam is a grant.
So we've got a couple balances left in the Union Brook Road reconstruction. By the way, there was a grant to stripe that Union Brook Road that was returned because it never got done. Union Brook slope repair, there's a whopping $5.33 that might buy a can of paint to say slow down. Lover's Lane grant is our cost, that is a grant. Our share of it is $45,240. And then you've got FEMA flood repair for $4.82 with the balances. Gravel resurface, we have a balance of $65,000. We're putting $90,000 in to continue maintaining our roads.
And the paving,
And did I go over paving? Yes, I did.
you did?
We're putting $225,000 into paving, and we have 3 roads that we're going to pave. And
What are they?
Carl, you said it was Gillespie, Robinson, and
Well, we've got to determine whether or not we want to do that. That's something that we need to discuss, because we could possibly just return that other one just back to gravel.
possibly.
On Robinson, it's not, there's nothing left to it.
Yeah.
And it's got 2
And
roads.
it's a
on it.
dead end, and 2 houses.
I know it was discussed, so I don't,
So that would be a milling job where you grind up the pavement and just make it, and grade it, and do the
When I hear
drainage.
that road, I say that's not high priority, in my opinion.
Well, I'd rather pave the top of Garvey Hill so we don't have to send 2 trucks up there, one with salt and one with sand. But
So you said 3 roads, Gillespie, Robinson, and,
Old Mill Hill, right?
yep.
Thank you, I skipped
Thanks.
over that one. So we've got $225,000 for that, and a balance of, we have a deficit in paving, we have a surplus in gravel resurfacing, and we're adding $90,000 to it.
but your plan is to use that surplus in gravel for a project we didn't get to do, or what was that, Carl? I can't remember.
I don't think that's been discussed.
No.
No, I don't remember having that discussion with him.
So, then my question is, why do we have a surplus?
We shouldn't.
Yeah. I thought we delayed a project.
We actually, we thought we overspent on,
You overspent in 24-25 by $30,000, or 25,000. The 25-26 budget year was 90, so the negative 30 and the plus 90 put you at 65.
And he didn't have a crew.
So, I'm getting that financial out. So,
Got it.
we hadn't done any gravel in,
yeah, technically we're a year behind.
Yeah,
we haven't
that's
done any gravel
exactly what I was
resurface
saying.
since July.
We're behind.
We tried to get 2 roads done in 1 year, and we just weren't able to pull it.
That's exactly right. That's what I was trying to remember.
So there is we basically have not spent the 25-26 money yet.
Carl, how realistic is it that you could pull 2 off this coming season?
It's pretty realistic.
It is?
Sure.
That would be by June 30th. And we need to spend that in this
Right.
year.
It's a capital, so it'll carry.
Oh, a capital, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Very good.
Are there any other questions for page 50? All right, the next page is
63.
63. Okay, so we have, first off, I know Carl would like to spread out the periodicity for the 1 tons. What we have is an 18 Dodge Ram due for replacement in 26-27. We put in $56,000 to try and get as close as we can to an estimated price of $180,000. That $180,000 is a spec'd out truck. There may be a savings, so you know, if we buy one off the lot. It won't have the exact things we do, but then there will probably be some expenses to retrofit that. Same thing for the one below that. 3/4 ton Chevy has a balance of $13.27, and it's got a lifespan, so we're starting to budget for replacement. That it was $62.50, so it's going to be $32.33. The dump truck Mack.
My bad, it should be an 18 Chevy.
No, it should be 2025.
We bought it in 2025, and I put the purchase date in and forgot to change the year of the truck.
You beat me to it.
Thank you. All right, so now we go down to the dump truck Max 17. We've got, and the other one that we bought is we've got 2 trucks on order.
2 trucks that we already own.
And the Mack they're both in the shop. Now they're getting fit with plows and wings. And you've got, how much money you gotta spend on each truck to do that?
$105,400.
Could you be exact on that, please?
398.
$105,400 is needed still to outfit that truck. Lori, run with this, please.
So the replacement for the 05 Mack, we would need, and again, it's to replace the 05 Mack would be, is it a 26?
Yes.
What we bought, the 26. We would need 43,000 instead of 34. We just got the outfitting price.
So we need to change the second draft number 2627 from 34,000 to 43.
But
Isn't that coincidental that it's just inverted?
jumping down, because we bought both trucks at the same time, so the 2014 Western and the 2005 Mack, we are replacing at the exact same time. We have purchased the chassis. They're both getting outfitted. They're both $105,400. So that truck, we only need $23,000. So we actually save a little bit, not much, a couple $1,000. So the 05 Mack, we're gonna change to 43,000. The 2014 Western Star, we're gonna drop down to 23,000.
So Carl, the trucks that we've purchased were supposed to be delivered for this snow season and we're not.
Originally, they were supposed to be when they were originally purchased. But due to the backlog at Viking, which is the company that puts the bodies and plumbs up the trucks and does all the electrical work, has fallen behind considerably. And they keep bouncing it more and more.
What's
So
your latest
we're
delivery?
looking at 2 years, they're telling us now, from purchasing the truck and then getting the bodies put on.
But the 2 trucks that we already purchased
Yes.
and that are sitting over at Viking,
They aren't sitting at Viking,
I mean-
they're still sitting in the showroom. We own them, they're sitting in their showroom,
So when do
waiting
we
for them
think?
when they can get it in there to do it.
When do you expect delivery of those 2 trucks?
I expected it already,
Okay,
so.
but
What's
you
the
have,
latest
you have an
estimate?
The
update?
latest estimate is probably gonna be next fall.
All right,
Next fall,
Fortunately, the warranty doesn't start going into effect until we receive the truck with the body on it with on assignment.
that's good. Next fall, meaning the fall of 2027?
That's the world we live in.
But
yes.
The
it's
fall of
not-
2027.
It's not this immediate coming fall, it's
26.
So I can
No,
split,
he said
26.
26.
26.
Oh, I'm sorry.
this coming fall.
It's coming
Oh,
forward.
okay.
But that's what they're telling me now. But what's, I don't know if they're gonna come in and say, well, we're gonna have to delay it again.
Right, we don't know,
We
we
don't.
don't know, but that's your best guess.
Well, that's what they're telling me.
Deal with this.
That's what you're being told. All right, cool. It may be any time between here and next fall. Okay,
Okay,
so,
I can't change that. I got excited. for
I know, I was like, oh, we can spread it out.
Yeah.
so, that's gonna pay, so those trucks will be operational when we get them. And, now it goes back to the, international, let's see, international used. The international used, you saw, we just bought that thing because one of our trucks,
The Mac.
the Mac needed to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Out of, so, we bought the internationals from Colchester, was it?
Yes.
From Colchester. He found it, he bought it, they put a warranty on it. That truck is a standard and it's gonna be sold after we get those trucks that we were just talking about.
We have to have something.
Right, he's gonna get 2 more trucks. And, then that, once we get the new inventory, that international that we bought is gonna be sold. And I hope the warranty, goes with the sale. But, now we get down to the dump truck, the Western Tandem that we do own currently, and it's bought and paid for. It's being budgeted, it's being listed as a replacement. We've already bought the replacement, we just had that discussion. But this truck has been, it's basically a new truck for the amount of maintenance we've got it. It's an automatic. The automatic is an interesting, piece of equipment when you're doing things like picking up leaves or when you're chloriding roads. So instead of having a clutch where you're throttling the clutch all the time because you're moving so slow, the operator gets to have an automatic and it will save it. So Carl wants to save this truck and use it as a spare. So this truck, which is, and the reason that we're doing it, I would never consider that idea. But we now have equipment in it that has to go back for warranty work up to Charlevoix. And we just paid a $900 bill for it to be towed up there, so that we had to wait 4 days, 3 or 4 days for the roast to come up and tow it up there. Then we had to wait for them to scan it. Then we bought a $128 part to fix it. Then it took 3 days for that part to get in, and then you had to go up and get the truck. You didn't have to get the roast to return it. So that's almost 10 days, given the weekends, right? We're without a truck. So having a tandem truck that's already rigged for plowing and winging, that is a standby truck, so if that was to happen during the period of time when we need it, whether it's a flood or whether it's snow removal, the idea is to keep this truck, and John, I know you love this truck, that it's just going to be used for applying chloride on the dirt roads and picking up leaves because it's an automatic, and it can be a backup when we need it. So he would like us to add that to our inventory.
And will that be stored inside? We have enough space?
We wouldn't be able to store it inside.
Because we have an ambulance that's been stored outside for a long, long time.
There you have it.
Is
I
there
mean,
more
you can-
room, I'm sorry, is there more room for a lean-to type situation, either at the town garage on the existing lean-to or at the falls pit? Which I know is a rather vague question, but just generally speaking, should we be looking at, maybe we can't go totally indoors, but should we be looking at some type of lean-to situation to at least get it under cover?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
I don't know how much room we had down there.
Not a lot. We'd have to, we may be able to revamp the one that's there, and move a grader over, and then maybe put a truck in there, and then we'd have to look at it and figure it out.
Because you have 2 graders in there right now, yeah.
Used to be the salt shed.
But it's like, or, although you don't want to have too much, I mean, we have what, the loader that's down at the pit under the lean-to? At the falls pit. You know,
Yeah.
is there space down there to put another lean-to, just a thought. Good thought.
The big thing about that truck is relief sucking, being the automatic. That's the big thing. You know,
Yeah.
That's pretty rough on anybody running a clutch,
Yeah.
trying to go a half a mile an hour. And the other problem is that occupies that truck for an entire month, so it's not a frontline truck.
Because it's outfitted to pick up
Yeah.
things. So that's a thought. We go down to the next item, which is the salt truck, 20 Chevy. I get the sense we gotta replace it in 2029. And I get the sense that he wants to pull away from that style of truck, is that correct?
The 6,500, yes, we want to get away from that.
So
And it's too light duty a truck, but we're forcing it to do things it was never meant to do.
Well, is there gonna be a change in price if you do something different?
We'd have to look into it.
Well, we're
That was a pretty
budgeting, we need to
expensive
have
truck,
that.
I do remember that.
We're budgeting, so we need to have that number.
I can get
Thank
something
you.
from international.
And then you go down to the excavator, the loader. We're not budgeting for the loader. The loader, that is the turn of the century Kawasaki. The 2012 Volvo, we're budgeting for replacement. The 22 Cat, we're budgeting for replacement. The John Deere, we're not budgeting, that's an old one, that's our second string. First string, we're budgeting to replace. Sidewalk machine, we're budgeting because it gets beat the hell up. We're not budgeting for the tag-along trailers, the leaf collection system. That's good, we went round and round with that. But I just can't believe with the old system that we had as long as it lasted, that you can't repair this. And I think probably it would be a good idea for known repairs, to get the parts, so if they are no longer available, you have them in your inventory, but that's a management call. But that's what I would do if I was worried about replacing it. I would be prepared to rebuild it rather than replace it. Hard to think that you're gonna have to spend that money in my mind, but that's just, where you traffic light that was supposed to get replaced this year, I think the money's in there, it wasn't done.
Was it replaced or an update?
I think it's replaced
Total
because the
replacement, yeah.
sun shields, it's been,
Yeah, I know, it's been due
Right.
for a long time.
right, and it was supposed to be done this year, and
Yes.
there we have it. Next thing is radios. Carl, tell me about the radios you got. You've already told me, tell the board about the radios you got, what the radio,
Basically, a good portion of our radios have been in several trucks. They've been removed, put in new trucks, taken out, put into another truck. The company that we have come work on our radios are telling us that they are obsolete and they do not work properly. We have a very hard time communicating, which basically is a safety issue.
So what's the 8,000 represent?
Radios for the inventory,
Replacing everything, that's,
Replacing, not
that's,
everything, that's
that's the cost.
not for everything, Dave.
two.
I think Dave's asking how many radios.
Two.
Thank you. That's very reasonable.
Two radios, Carl, out of how many, roughly?
A dozen.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So we're not funding that, correct?
Not all of those radios are obsolete. We have several that have new radios in them, like the newer trucks that we've been replacing them with newer ones as we get them. And that's what I wanna do with the next.
So, when you buy the truck, you order it with the radio, so the price is built into the truck price?
No.
So when you said you have the newer trucks,
That's why I wanna get new radios, so we
Right, but-
don't.
but you said some of the trucks have newer radios, so you had already bought,
I believe the 2020, I think, has a newer radio in it, doesn't it? Trying to remember if it is.
that's okay. So I was just trying to decide whether it was, make sure it wasn't in the.
2014 has a
price of the
brand new
truck.
radio in it, we just replaced it, because that one went out. So, the Mac, so the Mac has a very old radio in it. I mean, that probably came out of another truck, and that's a 2005.
But we're getting rid of that truck.
Yeah, so we're not gonna take that radio out and put it on the new truck.
To the museum.
This is the plan.
Okay, you get your vehicle lift repaired, we're budgeting for that, that's a long-term item. Tire machine and balancer, the tire machine is okay, that's what pops the tires off and puts the tires back on, but then you have to balance them. Carl, did you figure out how many tires you've gotta do?
It's actually more than you and I came up with that we talked about the other day. So, we're looking upwards of 60 tires that we.
That's ambulance, police, pickup trucks. So to balance those, you need to have a balancer that works and this one's not. And the parts available to fix it are no longer available because we went cheap when we bought it. So it's using that balancer. And the reason we're replacing that balancer is like everybody knows, twice a year when you're changing from winter to summer or summer to winter, there's a line at the tire shop and that slows us way down to get our tires changed. So it's just a matter of efficiency.
So we need to actually talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
I did some more research on that today, and in order for us to do those 20-inch wheels that are on like the 1-tons and the ambulances and stuff like that, it requires the one with the heavier spindle.
The tire machine.
The tire balancer.
The tire
spindle that
balancer.
it spins on has to be the heavier spindle, which also requires a heavier gear to secure it. And we're not in the ballpark on price for that one.
Do you know what to put it in the ballpark?
Yeah, you're not gonna like it, it's $9,000.
I don't like spending money, period, Carol, so you don't have to lead in with that.
So 9,000 more than the
No,
10
it's 9,000
total?
total, and that comes with all the hardware. You can get it for $400 cheaper, but then you have to go out and buy the hardware to go with it, so it ends up working out the same.
With the 4,000.
So is that 9,000 instead of 4,000?
Oh, but
We already have 5 in the fund now.
That's just the balance.
We have 5 in the
Yep.
fund, so all we need is 4.
Yeah.
We're good.
Right, that takes care of, that wipes out the tire machine
Yep.
surplus.
And then starting next year, you're 560 for the next.
Right, all right, that's cool,
10
we'll
years.
leave that at 4.
Right,
Good,
so,
good.
I'm sorry, a tire machine, okay, the balancer is 9,000 or 10,000, what roughly is the tire machine? I thought we spent like 5,000.
They were very cheap,
Yeah,
light duty.
it's just the 10,000 estimate is supposed to be for the two of them, so I should probably change that to like 15,000, it's not a big deal, just to be more accurate though. Because 9,000 is just for the balancing part.
Yep.
So,
Okay,
so the estimate for the two combined is probably closer to 15, but we only need to buy the balancer part.
That's
got
right.
it.
Yes.
Computers, 500, that's, I consider that a consumable, but it's in capital. And then the rest of the items, well, you can see, the roadside mower, they're, I think the reason it's not budgeted is because we've been talking about getting, having a contractor do that. Once we wear this stuff out, but they go a pretty long time if you don't use them to delimb trees.
So normally we pay for, we budget CIP for 100% of the purchase price of vehicles in the highway department.
We have built up over the years and been able to do that for several years now, yeah. I used to have, if you remember, I used to have the draft, and then I used to have a shortage column
Yeah.
that used to tell you, well, if we're only setting this much aside, we're gonna be $50,000 short.
Yep.
And several of the trucks.
I remember that.
Yeah, but the highway, we've been able to get up to 100%. Carl, just to jump back to the 2020. So we just paid 180 plus 110, so 290,000 for the 26 Western Star that we don't have yet. So the 2020 we have estimated at 263, probably a little low. The only saving grace potentially is we didn't trade any truck. That 290 is full purchase price, no trade. When we do the 2020, theoretically, we should be trading that in, right?
So we should be, yes.
So, do you think 263 is still a good budget number, or should I adjust that? Is what I'm basically asking. If we're paying 290 for the ones we just ordered.
I would say it would be safe to say it would probably,
Because that's only in 3 more years, so
Yeah.
if we're gonna be short, I'd rather start catching up now.
Well,
The other thing that
I
we
don't
have-
know what we get for a trade, you know,
Right,
$20,000?
yeah, they have to come look at it and give us
So should I just plan on 290 and,
That's what I was just gonna say.
well, you've got the sale of the International that we bought this year that's gonna go away when we get those other trucks. We spent 58,000 on that, and then we bought a warranty, roughly. So that should be, and that's a nice truck, because it was on pavement, and it was on the flat. We don't know what's gonna happen to it, once it touches the mountains of Northfield.
like
It's
in
out
South
there now, isn't it?
Huh?
It's out there now.
It is.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Just a consideration, something to think about. Due to the fact that we are running into this whole debacle with a 2-year wait on vehicles, that 2020 is gonna be, I mean, I know it's no secret that I wanna try to get our vehicles on a 7-year rotation.
Versus,
9.
And the reason that you wanna do a 7-year rotation is,
Because once your warranty runs out, the expense of maintaining these trucks is astronomical, as we all know, as you've seen what the maintenance budget looks like. We should
John, did you
not-
hear that?
Yes. I heard it.
We should not be keeping them past 7 years anymore. They are too complicated, they're computers, electronic. It's, I
And it
don't-
run out of parts.
and they run out of parts.
So I think we really need to start looking long and hard at getting back on track on 7-year rotation, keep them in a warranty. The problem being is this 2020, in another 2 years, is gonna hit that age. And if we don't order it now, we're not gonna get it in time to make that 7-year mark.
But now you've got 3 vehicles
Yes,
all at once, just about.
just a little.
It's hard on the budget.
It's just something for thought.
Yeah, no, it's a good thought.
Something we definitely should be thinking about, because like you've seen my
Good for
neighbors.
discussion.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, and we might, we'll talk about it more when we get kids over them, but if we're gonna start changing to closer to 7 years, you gotta start bumping this.
Yeah.
the budget.
Well, we've seen the repair bills go through the roof. One, John, right?
Yes.
And it's out of warranty. So there's a one, cost benefit analysis is easy to be done. We're spending 20,000 on a repair job.
40,000.
Yeah.
40,000.
I just very roughly, because I couldn't figure it out all the little smaller stuff and figure out what, but I identified at least 40,000 in the 2014. And
No
just
wonder
in,
John's
just,
having a hemorrhage.
just in 1 year, FY 24-25, over 40,000
Yeah.
into the one.
So his argument is proven right there on that one vehicle.
There are hidden costs as well, downtime, we're operating without vehicles, so now you've got people working twice as many hours to try to get the job done, so now it's
The problem is
a
the
domino
cycle.
effect.
Indeed it is.
The challenge will be replacing virtually 3 trucks all at once to the budget and not getting, and not being
You know,
able to spread it.
You might have to delay some until you get into that swing. You've got to try to avoid a peak in spending. If you can do that, so you have a rotation that makes sense, it could mean that you're buying a new truck every year.
The other, so on the plus side of it, one, hopefully vehicle maintenance goes down. 2, we better get a trade value, not $500. If we're, hopefully, on a $300,000 vehicle that's 7 years old, hopefully we'll get something better than $2,000.
He's got something to say about
Perfect
it.
example of what you're saying is what that truck we just bought.
For 68,000?
So what do you figure they probably got for a trade-in value on that?
Half of that?
Not sure, but it's more substantial than we get when we trade something in, that's.
Right.
You can base your trade in on roughly about 7 years on about $40,000.
40.
Yeah, about $40,000.
And so, just for instance, like the 2 trucks we just bought, the 05 and the 14, we've been putting 34,000 aside. So if you did 300,000 over 7 years, you're looking at like 42,000. So it's another 9
Yeah.
grand each, but it's not, it's not another 20,000 each. Other than whether the 300,000 will be a good number 7 years from now, but
It won't be.
with probably a $40,000 trade value, it might be. The truck might be $340,000, $350,000, but with the trade value, you only need $300,000. So it, and I could, not sure about how many hours I have here, but I could theoretically try to come up with not necessarily change the budget, but just do another sheet, like, if we were to go to a 7-year, this is what it would look like.
I'd like to see that.
Then we know.
I think the argument is very valid to get away from 9 to 7.
Julie brought that up, I think.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, we had 10 years, the turn of the century, we didn't have DEF and computers on Mack trucks, so we run them for 10 years.
No
sometimes
doubt
a little
about
bit longer. You were driving them for then, and we worked them hard, and he made a good point one year, you gotta replace them because they're emergency equipment. We were holding them for 10 years. We didn't have these kind of
Really?
expenses.
At the turn, 2000.
This may be too late in this budget cycle to bring this up, but have you thought about leasing, getting into a leasing program?
It doesn't necessarily work that great with.
I don't know enough about it to recommend it.
The abuse,
Just putting that out as an
the abuse that the
alternative.
chassis go through is
Yeah.
We did that with the loader, the excavator for the Volvos.
Did that.
Equipment makes sense.
That works very well with equipment.
And you do lease?
We did, both Volvos, the excavator and the loader were both leases.
But you're saying not so well with highway equipment?
With the trucks.
The Volvo loader was brand new equipment, leased to own. I will tell you, I was not in favor of the lease because the municipality can borrow lower than,
The lease rates?
Okay.
at the time, I don't, that was, you know, years
Yeah,
ago.
like I said,
That's
I
a
don't know.
financing mechanism.
Pardon?
It's a financing mechanism.
Yes, yeah.
It really is. It probably doesn't go for big
Did you
trucks,
think those
though.
one tons were 7-year warranty also, or? Those are-
I think the Dodges have the best warranty.
Okay,
I think they vary from manufacturer.
I was just in
Let's see,
redoing this,
our
trying to
warranty,
figure out.
both of the Dodges warranties just ran out, in the past few months.
Okay, well then it must be 7 years, because we bought them in 17, 18 timeframe roughly, so that would make sense for it to be a 7-year warranty, not a 5-year. I wanted to make sure it wasn't 5.
There you have it. That ends the highway discussion. Board members, is there any other discussion? John, let me go to you. Do you have any questions about the capital equipment plan we just discussed?
No, I don't. Well, we're all set.
All right, so, that was on the agenda. It is 8 o'clock. So we've had, 2 hours of wonderful discussion.
That's it.
Now, if
I have an appointment.
do you?
Brian knows what I'm talking about. There's a hockey game being played right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, Chase Jail.
Everybody, this is traditional. The municipality stops for hockey games on a weekend. Just have to tell you. I am now going to open it up to public participation, non-scheduled. Is there anybody in the audience that has anything to add? Yes, sir, please identify yourself.
Yeah, my name's Dave Hanna, and I'm here on a safety issue on Union Road with an individual that has 3 cars parked in the traveled path and a truck and a trailer on the other side, and it's surely screwing these guys up plowing. But I got hit the other day because the guy behind me didn't stop. And I had to stop because somebody was coming the other way, and the guy behind me tagged me. And
I'm with you.
and something's got to be done. And besides,
Dave?
we're waiting for the police chief, we're waiting for the city manager. I mean, it's a safety issue, and I just happened to.
I've been pursuing that for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I got a response back from Vermont League's cities and towns that quoted statute before this meeting. And I'm going to go back and open up and make sure that the copy and paste is correct. But I think we have an approach to that. And we also, I had put it on the agenda for Tuesday to discuss perhaps putting no parking signs up there, which means it would be a change to the ordinance.
Well, what is the ordinance about parking in the street? I mean, I could go out there and just park in the middle of the road and say.
Parking on the street as it is written, and the police department couldn't do anything about it, is that you have to be within a certain distance from the edge of the road. So that doesn't work up there, clearly. We all understand it. You know I deliver meals on wheels up there.
Right.
So it doesn't work. So in the interpretation of the law enforcement officers that we have, the interpretation was it wasn't enforceable to tow. So we went further on that, and that's what I discovered today, that there is a clause in a statute that we had not looked at that allows us, for the purpose of maintenance of the road, to open that up. Now, I have to follow up, I'm always double check
Right.
everything, but in addition, that could be the immediate action, and then the second action may be, depending on what the board's taste is, in the recommendation of the manager who has no idea what we're talking about, we may change the ordinance on Tuesday.
Right, well, that road's getting smaller and smaller with the snow, you know, being pushed against his rigs. It's just barely enough for one car to go up and down the road.
Does everybody know?
We know exactly.
Thank you, then I don't have to get into detail,
No,
but
we
yeah.
know exactly, and I feel sorry for you, and I'm sorry you got bumped.
Yeah, and that's all it was a bump, but, you know, it was one of
Yeah,
those
still.
deals like I shouldn't have had to stop, but I
Well-
had to stop because his cars are in the road.
I'm glad you came and told us.
All right, now I'll be glad if something gets done, because it's really out of hand. I really believe that he's just mocking the police department, because he started off with one.
All right, we're
and now
not gonna
he's
go
got
down
three.
on what you believe in. The actual discussion is, we have a traffic bottleneck on Union Brook, and we're gonna get on it. We're on it.
That's all.
Tuesday.
Pardon?
Come back Tuesday.
I will. Thank you, that's all I wanted to do.
Good to see you today, man.
I'm sorry you guys
Thanks for
were
coming down,
around,
Dave.
so.
Anybody else in the audience? Is there anybody else streaming that would like to discuss the highway budget?
Looks like Karen's got a hand up.
Karen
Trombley has a hand up, or is that Lorna?
Was that Lorna?
Somebody has a
On
hand up to
Karen.
discuss the highway or fire department budget, please do. Going once? Going twice?
Who wants to talk about the highway budget there? Lorna or Carrie? Karen?
That's neither.
Neither wants
Hearing
to
none,
talk about it.
do you guys want to continue with the discussion, or suffice it to say, we need some more information regarding everything, and in your budget, did you have the recommendation for how to use the surplus?
I do now.
That's what you were handed out.
He just handed it to me. She just handed it to me.
What are you trying to say, Dave? I got it this morning.
Withholding facts.
Charlie, are the next budget meetings, I did not see them warned yet.
Yeah, so,
Can we
They'll
discuss,
be warned tomorrow.
what can
what
we
are
say
they?
publicly now, what we know, if we know things about dates and times and subjects?
Right, so, yes, you can. I don't have my notes in front of me. What is Thursday?
Police and
Hold on.
ambulance. You usually talked about
Yeah.
police and ambulance.
Police and ambulance.
I can't be here on the 8th, just FYI. I told James that.
yes, you did. So Thursday, the 8th.
Do you want to send me any questions, or Lori, any questions?
I will.
Well, what did we have? Thursday, the 8th is police and ambulance. And then, let me look and see what the other
And that's at 6
proposals.
p.m. also?
Tuesday, the 13th is going to be O&M,
And did you say 5:30 for that one?
yes.
Which one?
On Tuesday, the 13th?
That's O&M, which is operations and maintenance.
What did you say for the 8th, 6?
Yeah. Are they both here?
Tuesday certainly will be,
I thought Ken told me there's a conflict for.
Yeah,
Thursday.
Thursday, I think is down there.
might be, yeah.
Thursday, the 8th is gonna be down there?
I
Yes.
think so, but I'll have to double.
Unless we flip with
Okay.
whoever was
Okay.
on
Okay.
And you're unavailable on what date again?
the 8th.
And then we have it on the
Be there at
13th, that's our regular select
I
board
thought
meeting.
And before that, at 5:30, we're gonna do an
What'd you
O&M.
say?
I thought
Oh,
the
5:30,
13th
okay.
was a conflict.
No, it's the 8th, there's just a conflict with the room. So it might be at the municipal building. The 13th is a regular meeting and it'll be here, but it's gonna start early at 5:30.
And then the regular select board meeting.
That's correct.
And the regular start
Oh, you
time,
poor guy.
start time for the regular.
And all of you though.
19.
Well, yeah.
19 up, okay.
And then 115, we were thinking grounds and
Pool.
pool. Thank you.
Grounds and pool?
Yep.
At
That
6
shouldn't
o'clock?
take very long, so if you
Correct.
want
And
to.
that could be other conversations that.
Right.
So that's at 6
We'll get through all the budgets, and then, by then, we should have some options
Right.
for, how you want to, proceed.
It might be a good time to revisit highway.
Yeah,
I'd
we
like
might
to
wanna
talk
have
about
that on there.
answers and, well, that was my recommendation, we always put more on the agenda, so.
Yeah, Charlie, on the 15th, can we make sure we have a catch-all on the agenda that's either like things that we need to discuss again? So
We'll
that,
just put it down as highway budget.
yeah, but it could be more than the highway,
could be
potentially, we
something
might need
else.
to also discuss, fire if we're moving things around, you know?
Or
So maybe it's
bridges?
just a budget overview or.
And that's how we've done it in the past, budget overview.
Whenever we think it's towards the end.
So
we
the
should be able
umbrella
to
type
just-
of, umbrella
Anything
type of
under the
deal.
umbrella.
bucket.
Yes.
It's a bucket, to catch it on the bucket.
Kristen, did you have a question about time or?
The 15th is 6 PM, but where is that one? Brown.
We don't know yet, but it'll be warned.
We understand
Probably.
there's a conflict, and Ken, I think, is trying to work out if we
Okay.
can take this room. If not, it'll be down in Minnesota. Conflict in space, I should say.
Yeah.
Was there anything, as far as Thursday night's meeting, police ambulance related, or anything else that additional information you'd like from me or the department heads?
Did they get the ambulance, department overview,
I mean, the request, the written request
the
from
letter from the
Megan?
chief?
No.
I don't have that electronically, so I will, does anybody have that electronically, or was that a hard
I can
copy?
just scan it if you,
Yeah.
it just, right,
Get this covered.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You
We
mean the
do
three
have
or
a
four
3 or 4
pages?
pages
Charlie?
from the ambulance, and
You mean that 3 or 4 pages that you wrote up, right?
Right.
That's what you're, okay, I can do that.
normally that would go through the manager and then it would be filtered, but we didn't have that opportunity, so instead we're going to do it. And I'm sorry that we're catching up, folks. Ladies and gentlemen,
We know.
we're catching up. Thank
We're
you for your
not,
patience.
we're not crying too much.
Well, you haven't beaten me down yet, so
No.
Dave, you always beat me down.
Oh, Dave's mean.
I'll take
Just a little
a,
accountability.
do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any objections? No abstentions? John, you good to adjourn?
That's good.
Without objection, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for everybody coming. Well done, Carl and Pete. Thanks.
Warren, you get your rulers back?
Yes.
Yeah, snacks.
Only because they make this.
It's gonna be
Well,
left.
I mean, I guess I could put it in the
Right
drawer.
there for
No, I
you.
still have that.
It always happens.
There, you gathered up my ruler, right?
Look at that thing.
That one.
Yeah, it's effective. Might improve them.
But the contractor never came back. The electrical in the back of the here, remember it's still out of order for months?
This one is?
Yeah, remember you went to use it and you can't use it, and I questioned Jeff myself because Sharon says she was asked about it and nothing happened. I said, well, I asked him, and he said he had already reached out and had somebody come and look, and they had never come back.
Well, I know who he uses for electrical, so that's good to know, and,
So, and the reason why I asked is because I was about to bring it up. The little kids have got access because they can't wait too long, and then they run upstairs and there's one bathroom.
It's a
It's
bathroom.
been months.
The bathroom doesn't work?
No, the lights, somebody hung on the door.
The lights
And
don't
they
work,
pulled
but you
the
can
lights.
still go up there to the
Right,
bathroom.
but you can hear somebody go in there with a flashlight. No, you can't do this, no.
No.
no, I got it. So I know who our electrician is.
Somebody hung on the door, and there's a door issue and the whole,
I'll take a
the
look.
plumbing all works. It's the
I'll take a look. I don't have my phone.
So,
Mary, how does it look?
that's,
How does what look? Well,
I remember it.
yeah,
Thank you.
how does it feel?
Well, I know who our electrician is, and that's supposed to be hanging
Yeah,
up
I
there.
thought you should have something from Northfield.
I appreciate that.
They were fresh out of cake sometimes.
Well, how do you do?
Every meeting's an educational experience.